What happens when a sitting governor calls for mobilization against his political opponents? When big tech oligarchs openly collude with foreign propaganda? When a congressman files impeachment articles because he doesn't like the president's success? The mask is finally coming off, and what's underneath is more disturbing than anyone imagined. And tonight, we're going to show you exactly how the deep state is working overtime to undermine Trump's historic achievements. The players, the money trails, and the coordinated attacks. It's all connected. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. And I'm going to show it to you. And while the establishment tries to weaken American men, you can fight back with Test Boost Max. The stress of watching our nation under attack can spike cortisol levels, blocking your natural testosterone production. That's why patriots are turning this powerful formula with 8 natural ingredients designed to help maintain peak masculine vitality. Don't let their agenda diminish your strength. Join the thousands of American men taking control of their health and standing strong against the resistance. Visit sculptnation.com/NNN and save up to 51% on your first order. It's linked down below this video. Just tap more. So the deep state and big tech are launching coordinated attacks on Trump, his supporters, and American values. While the president delivers historic results, the left is plotting impeachment already, and of course, violence. The truth they don't want you to see is shocking, and we are about to unpack it all. Now, this guy here, he has gone viral for all the wrong reasons. You're going to see why in a minute. The far-left Congressman Sri Thandar has officially filed 7 articles of impeachment against President Trump. Pure political theater to distract from Trump's success. They claim he's defying the Constitution while they trample upon our rights. Yeah, this guy, I'm not sure if this is an SNL skit, but maybe it could be. I don't know.
That keep our... This is Congressman Sri Thandar. Donald Trump has already done real damage to our democracy, but defying a unanimous 9-0 Supreme Court ruling, that has to be the final straw. It's time we impeach Donald J. Trump.
Are you scared? Are you scared of this guy?
Court said the wrongfully deported Kilmer Garcia must be allowed to return and receive due process. Trump ignored it. He ignored the Constitution. He ignored the very checks and balances that keep our democracy intact. This isn't an isolated incident. It's part of a dangerous, deliberate pattern. That's why today I introduced a resolution to impeach Donald J. Trump, outlining 7 articles of impeachment. Article 1.
More like 7-11 articles of impeachment. Yeah. Now, J.B. Pritzker, the Democrat governor of Illinois, just called for mobilization and disruption against Republicans. His exact words, Republicans cannot know a moment of peace. A sitting governor, my governor, that I'm ashamed to say, from Illinois, openly calling for harassment of political opponents. Others are seeing it as violence.
I do want to point out the GOP is strong. I mean, I think President Trump has had one of the strongest 100 days in history of any president. He's accomplished a lot, and it's building blocks to build on for the future of Republicans. And as long as Governor Pritzker is out there running for president like he's done for years, I think it's a good sign for Republicans that we have an opportunity to seize pick up more seats. We have an opportunity in the midterms to deliver on results. And I do want to point out something about Governor Pritzker announcing he's running. I mean, he camped out in 2022 in New Hampshire, right? He jockeyed to replace Biden on the ticket.
Yeah, you know, he didn't actually announce. He's on the circuit.
He's on the circuit. He's thinking about it and clearly wants to see his name in the headlines. But what is alarming is when he said, I wrote it down, Republicans cannot know a moment of peace. Here's a sitting governor and a potential presidential candidate calling for violence against Republicans.
I don't think
if they head down that line, it's going to look very, very good for our country and for the GOP in the future.
That is ridiculous.
Okay, if
That
President
is
Trump,
really
if President
ridiculous.
Trump
What
had
he's
said
saying
that,
is he's calling for mass protest. He's calling for activism. He's calling for Democrats not to
can't
and people will interpret it in these two ways.
Absolutely.
I think what you're saying is certainly valid, and you were going to highlight the fact that even using the word peace implies might there be violence. Pritzker will have to answer for that.
Yes. The GOP is strong. I mean, I think
now
President Trump
I want to point out that we've got the footage here. We've got the footage here of Pritzker, and I want to make, and I did get Stephen Miller's reaction to this. So let me just pull that up for you real quick, because it's really important context to this. Without, we're just showing you a news hit on it, but here is the actual governor talking about it.
Have I called for mass protests, for mobilization, for disruption? But I am now. These Republicans cannot know a moment of peace. They have to understand that we will fight their cruelty with every megaphone and microphone that we have. We must castigate them on the soapbox and then punish them at the ballot box.
You notice how he didn't say anything about the buffet station. Yes, I have in good authority that Governor Pritzker in his motorcade does travel with food trucks. Now, here is the moment that I was able to ask Stephen Miller about J.B. Pritzker's remarks.
Stephen, remember when Governor Pritzker just called for mass protests and disruption, saying Republicans cannot know peace, while Trump's border crossings are down 95% and ICE is locking up 800 criminals? Is Pritzker inciting insurrection, and will DOJ take action?
Well, what I would say is that his comments, if nothing else, clearly could be construed as inciting violence. So President Trump survived 2 assassination attempts against his life. Of course, there's been many more credible threats against President Trump and his family and associates. We've, of course, seen the spate of left-wing domestic terrorism all across this country. By the way, the destruction of property sits directly adjacent to attacks on humans and physical attacks. In other words, once you tolerate and once you allow for attacks on property, you're just a step away from people throwing Molotov cocktails into people's homes. And you've even seen some, I think one example of a formerly prominent Washington Post journalist who seemed to be celebrating the murder of a healthcare CEO, right? Health insurance CEO. And that's the point we've reached in this country, where people are engaging in rhetoric and behavior that puts the lives of public servants in danger, puts the lives of conservative Americans in danger. And so that's the first thing I would say. And then, of course, secondly, right, just this war that Democrat governors and mayors are waging against federal law enforcement. I mean, this is nullificationist behavior. This is secessionist behavior, where they're saying they don't recognize the supremacy of federal law enforcement in terms of protecting the lives and livelihoods of American citizens against a foreign invasion. We've never seen anything like it. And of course, the result of their conduct is that they're allowing illegal aliens to go free and rape and murder their own citizens. So I can't imagine having a leader in a city or a state that would privilege the well-being of illegal alien murderers over their own citizens, but that's where we are right now.
And that is where we are. Now, that was some important context that you really needed to see with respect to the message that is being presented in this thread. So let me continue as we move down in this report, because we have this from the J.B. Pritzker. We just played that. White House fighting back. Here we go. White House fighting back by displaying the 100-plus posters of illegal immigrants arrested. Now, look at this. This is how they blurred out the faces on MSNBC.
This location is right directly White House. has put up about 100 posters of what they say are unauthorized immigrants who have been arrested for violent crimes. You can see them there. They put them up on the driveway of the White House. If you look here, that's the West Wing just at the forefront, the executive mansion itself to the left. But what's particularly noteworthy about this location is it is right directly behind the positions where TV correspondents do their hits from White House lawn. So therefore, no matter what network you're on, that includes MSNBC, if you're doing a hit from the White House right now, those pictures will be behind you. The White House doing a briefing in about a half hour about what they're doing here. Maria, your response to this image.
So I have to say, one of the biggest challenges that we have with the deportations that we know of so far, for example, with
I don't want to hear your voice, but you get the point here. Now, Mike Lindell, we're learning, is under the biggest attack ever because he's exposing the truth about electronic voting machines. Let's jump in and see what Mike's saying on Lindell TV.
Right. So how does this? Well, Mike, I want to get on to address something really serious here, though, because I saw that a judge held you in contempt. Now, look, Steve Bannon was held in contempt, and he got to go to jail. Right. So how does this all work out? I mean, the audience wants to know. And you've also got Keith Ellison investigating you.
Yeah. You guys, we're under the biggest. Right. We are under right now, everybody, the biggest attack that My Pillow and myself have ever been under. It's all manifesting now. And they're going, wait a minute, Mike, you were attacked in January of 21. All the box stores, you were canceled. The number one person in the country holding their arm up and they're shooting me down. Anything I did, attacking and canceling me. Then a year ago, August, when I came up with a plan to secure our election, same thing. What they did back then, let's take Mike out. Let's destroy his company, cancel all his credit, squish his credit in, which we're still feeling the manifestations of that. When you had lines of credit and they squish it in and say, hey, we want our money now. When you've been doing business with places like you guys have all seen even shipping companies in the news going, hey, we want all this money now. And there was a big thing about FedEx or whatever. By the way, everybody, we're shipping just fine. The stuff you read in the news isn't all exactly true, okay? But we had this big credit squish a year and a half ago on top of being debanked, deplatformed, a merchant server. It was like a run on a bank. And how we survived that because of one thing, the grace of God. But then, since the election, everybody, they have turned it up wide open. Now, why would they do that? When Donald Trump's already in doing this magnificent job, why attack Mike Lindell and My Pillow? Well, here's why. It's very simple. They want to keep their electronic voting machines. They want to keep their thing to steal. Well, they didn't steal it in this last election. No, it was too big to rig. They stole millions of votes from Donald Trump. Millions, everybody. They skimmed it across, okay? They also stole 4 senators, nine congressmen that we know of. So I am in this battle with these machine companies that have sued My Pillow and myself for billions of dollars. And one of them, Smartmatic, it's a joke. Well, by the time Smartmatic sued me, we were already out, everybody, about $150 million in lost sales. We have lost hundreds of millions of dollars of lost sales. We lost most of the retailers, most of the box stores. We would hope that they would come back now. If anybody are out there and you go to these box stores and say, now we take them back. But you know what their CEO, he wants to get rid of the voting machines. What a terrible guy. And so Smartmatic sues on this, right? And this craziest, most frivolous lawsuit in history. Anyway, it goes into discovery, everybody. This is how normal lawsuits go. You go into discovery. First, you put in for a dismissal, which I did. And the first day of the cyber symposium, the judge rules, you're not going to dismiss these, boy. I'll tell you, Mike, this Judge Nichols out of D.C., and then this one's in Minnesota, the Smartmatic one. Well, anyway, then you go into what's called, you're going to have summary judgment, and We still haven't even got to summary judgment, everybody, where you say, hey, here's what we have. We have so much evidence on them, and we've done nothing wrong. And let's get this lawsuit thrown out. It's a joke. Well, to them, what's their motive, everybody? They want to attack Mike Lindell and My Pillow and bring me down to silence me. That's what they're doing.
Well, Mike.
Oh, man. That guy just can't catch a break. And, of course, Amazon declared war. Speaking of declaring war, Amazon declaring war on American consumers displaying tariff costs on products. Here was the question that was raised in the press room.
Crystal clear demonstration. It was reported this morning that Amazon will soon display a little number next to the price of each product that shows how much the Trump tariffs are adding to the cost of each product. So isn't that a perfect crystal clear demonstration that it's the American consumer and not China who is going to have to pay for these policies?
I will take this since I just got off the phone with the president about Amazon's announcement. This is a hostile and political act by Amazon. Why didn't Amazon do this when the Biden administration hiked inflation to the highest level in 40 years? And I would also add that it's not a surprise because, as Reuters recently wrote, Amazon has partnered with a Chinese propaganda arm. So this is another reason why Americans should buy American. It's another reason why we are onshoring critical supply chains here at home to shore up our own critical supply chain and boost our own manufacturing here.
It was reported this morning that Amazon will...
Moving right along, the left is comparing Trump to Nazi Germany. Here's Pritzker, calling it a 5-alarm fire while demanding people step into the streets. Jelly Belly Pritzker. And of course, remember, he has
Nazi Germany.
He has presidential aspirations, along with all-you-can-eat aspirations.
The dangers that my family experienced in Ukraine, the dangers that we saw in Nazi Germany, especially in the earliest days of Nazi Germany, are the dangers that we need to react to now. If we don't, things will get much, much worse. And so we've got to raise alarm bells to everybody. It's a 5-alarm fire, everyone. It's time to step out of your comfort zone and step out into the streets and speak up and make your voices heard, because that's the only thing that we have. That's the power that we have. And we can stop them in their tracks because, you know what? Republicans in Congress don't want to lose re-election. The dangers that my family experienced in...
And the Democrat meltdown continues. One leftist calls for crushing conservative voices.
Dude never misses a meal. How you doing, JP? Of Illinois. Just calling out for mass protests forever. Constantly. Just protesting Donald Trump. And what's going to happen if they go out there and you tell people, go out there and put yourselves at risk? Safety, arrest. Go out there. Protest for days and days and weeks and months. For what reason? What would you think is going to happen, JB? Huh? Because I know you like to get your little happy ass in your plane and you like to come to Florida at your second home. Multi-billionaire there. Huh? Are you inciting, by the way, violence? Isn't that what y'all on the other side said that J6 was? Isn't that? Okay. I was just in Illinois. The people of Illinois can't stand you, dude. You got Chicago. That's why you win all the time. That's what you got, Chicago. So, fucking JB Pritzker. Eat a turkey leg, bro.
Eat a turkey leg indeed, man. Well, their attack on conservatives, relentless, claiming Americans can't trust Trump with the nuclear codes while appointing a 19-year-old Doge bro to help streamline the government. The contempt they have for working Americans is shameful. Here's an extended look at Pritzker's remarks in New Hampshire.
While announcing that it's time for us to be done with optimism about their motives or their objectives. Time to stop wondering if you can trust the nuclear codes to people who don't know how to organize a group chat. It's time to stop ignoring the hypocrisy and wearing a big gold cross while announcing the defunding of children's cancer research. And time to stop thinking that we can reason or negotiate with a madman. Time to stop apologizing when we were not wrong. Time to stop surrendering when we need to fight. Our small businesses don't deserve to be bankrupted by unsustainable tariffs. Our retirees don't deserve to be left destitute by a Social Security Administration decimated by Elon Musk. Our citizens don't deserve to lose health care coverage because Republicans want to hand a tax cut to billionaires. Our federal workers don't deserve to have, well, a 19-year-old Doge bro called Big Balls destroy their careers. Autistic kids and adults who are loving contributors to our society don't deserve to be stigmatized by a weird Nepo baby who once stashed a dead bear in the backseat of his car.
Ironic, he's talking about nepotism. Look at his entire family.
Our military service members don't deserve to be told by a washed-up Fox TV commentator who drank too much and committed sexual assault before being appointed Secretary of Defense that they can't serve their country simply because they're black or gay or a woman. And if it sounds like I'm becoming contemptuous of Donald Trump and the people that he has elevated, it's because I am. You should be too. They're an affront to every value this country was founded upon.
No, sir, you are an affront to the values of this nation. Big tech oligarchs can't be trusted. They just want concentrated power and more wealth. Take a look. Real America's Voice.
Amazon, big tech oligarchs, you can't trust them. It's got to be broken up, and here's why. People said, well, they want to be part of MAGA. No, they don't. They just want concentrated power and more wealth. Amazon, as much as Bezos has been skipping around, doing the space flights and the Blue Horizon and everything like that, as soon as they have the opportunity to go against American entrepreneurs, to go against American working class people, the middle class in this country, the first time he gets to be a running dog for the CCP, he does. Big tech oligarchs, you can't trust them. It's got to be.
So the elites are panicking as Trump delivers historic results, from impeachment threats to censorship campaigns to big tech collusion. Their attacks only prove how effective that Donald Trump is. So there you have it. From Pritzker's call for disruption to Amazon's political games with tariffs, the resistance is getting desperate. They're not even trying to hide it anymore. These aren't just random attacks, they're coordinated efforts to undermine America's comeback. But here's what you need to ask yourself. Why are they fighting so hard against policies that are clearly working for the American people? What are they really afraid of losing? I think I know the answer to that, but I want to hear yours. Share your insights in the comments below. And before you go, and while you're there, hit the More button below this video and tap shop.nextnewsnetwork.com to support our mission of exposing the truth. Every purchase helps us continue our coverage of the deep state's desperate attempts to stop America's restoration.